Well, hello everyone. Hi, welcome to Healthy Backs today. Thanks for being patient with me, and I'm gonna get you all up on my screen. Hit a little traffic on the way in this morning. Not the way I like to roll, but you know, sometimes it just happens where it happens. So as you're coming in, I am going to begin with a seated series. And you could choose to do this seated on your mat. I just thought it would be nice to have the option for a chair. So if you want to sit on your couch or a chair, whatever you need, it's all good for me, and it'll all be good for you too. If you would drop in the chat as I get us ready here, let me know if there is anything you need as a particularly special request today in terms of your body, in terms of your back specifically. And all right, beautiful. Okay, perfect to use the ball. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty stable. So yeah, let's just take a deep breath. Running in from traffic. Ah! It's gonna be great. It's all gonna be great. Welcome to Healthy Backs. Mwah! I'm so glad you're here. In this class, we're going to use some core connecting exercises. We're going to do a few little experiments to just check in with our awareness surrounding our backs. And you should know that the class, Healthy Backs, was named such because initially when I ran it in person, it was meant to address a group of people whose backs may have been considered anything but healthy. And my intention was to bring them into a space where we would work with them in a safe way, where they wouldn't feel threatened or like, you know, anything was going to put them in more pain than they may have already been in, and that they just could explore movement and learn about ways to support themselves. So that's why we're here today. I do have my chair, as I said. I'll invite you to take a seat, whether you're on a ball or a chair. I would love for you to kind of meander your way forward so that you're perched at the edge of your seat. And then let's just take our hands, palms down for a moment. Let our feet feel heavy to the floor or the mat, the carpet. And you know that sense of, if you've ever seen chocolate melt in a pan from chip form to liquid form, I want you to imagine that each foot is like a huge chocolate chip, and you're just letting that energy spread. You're letting it melt into the ground. You're feeling that sense of weight and fluidity. Yeah, we're just gonna arrive here. Okay. So the first thing that I'd like us to do is to take just a hip hinge. So remember, we're going to consider that we have two little pencils, one at each hip fold, and it's just a folding forward at your hips, leaning forward, not taking weight out of your feet, but maybe away from your sits bones, so you're in a long flat back, chest is open. And then you come all the way back up. So picture a long diagonal line from your tail through the crown of your head. And as you fold in your hips, you're just leaning forward and maybe even reaching up through the top of your head to feel like that line is getting a stretch to it. So imagine that your spine is like a violin string. So right now we're trying to pull it taut for the most precise little plucking noise that could happen. That doesn't mean tense or painful, it just means feel the energy pulling in two different directions. We refer to this as oppositional energy, and many times just doing this reaching, it can help start to bring your support systems on board. Good, we'll do one more. Keep those feet melting. And then we're gonna just bring our arms down by our sides to dangle here. And then let's lift our shoulders up to our ears, closing the space between your shoulders and your ears. And then as you lower your blades down, open up the sides of your neck. Good. I know in fashion, I don't know if it's still the case, I don't make enough money to follow fashion that closely. And I live in athleisure wear. But capes were a thing for a bit. I kind of missed it. A lot of it happened over staying at home, right? In any case, it's this idea that you're pressing your cape up to your ears, and it's maybe made of velvet or something. And then the weight of the cape helps you drop your shoulders down along the sides of your body. Let's do that a couple more times. I'm getting a little itch. We're back in the imperfect place, everybody. We're back in that place where we're just rolling with what we need to roll with today. Good. Maybe adding a little breath might feel nourishing for you as we go through, let's say 3 more. So maybe it's an inhalation all the way up and an exhalation to come down. And again, lifting and lowering. And one more time, lifting up and lowering down to stay, to feel the weight of your arms, the weight of your shoulder blades. We're not forcing them down. We still have that sense of lift through the center. We're going to take it into a side bend. So let's just reach over with our right arm, let our right ear become heavy, let the right side of our body reach to the ground, and then press actively through your feet, through your sits bones to come back through center. And then we'll go in the opposite direction. Yeah. So I always like to point out when we're doing more subtle things with the emphasis on so much energetic output over the past years in fitness, it is important to remember the spectrum by which we help our body. Yeah, sometimes you remember it's probably like 6th grade science, the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. It's the one that processes all the things that give you energy, food, etc., and sends it out to where it needs to be. But, we're not in a 24-hour open for business situation. Recovery is a thing, yeah? And so when we remember that recovery is helpful and part of the work, we can qualify it in our minds. Let's take our left hand over to the right side of our knee and just take a gentle twist. What I'd like you to do is just peek back behind you. How far can you look naturally? No forcing. Good, and come all the way back. We have bugs outside. Let's go to the other side. There's such a, sore. Okay. Yeah, there's such a random occurrence of like things that happen in Chicago. It starts with the cottonwood, which is like these huge tufts of fluff floating through the air that want to kill you through allergies. And now we're into the bug season. I don't even know what they're called. I don't want to know anything about them. All right, on the next few rotations as you take it, see if you can turn your head a little more and look back. And if it's sore, again, we're not forcing it. We're just looking for opportunities. Yeah. One more time. Beautiful. All right, so we're going to come back to center and widen your feet a little, and we're going to start with a seated roll down, which is essentially where we're going to peel our spine away in a rounded position towards the ground. The idea is that we're peeling it away from a wall or a flat surface behind us, and in the event that you are avoiding rounding your spine, you can always just do a hinge from your hips and your flat back here, and then just come up, all right? So let's hang our arms right down between our knees. Let's start bringing your chin to your throat or folding at the hips, depending on which version you're gonna take. And we're just gonna let the arms hang as we round or hinge forward. Now you might try both versions and see which one is the one for your body today. And you can hang forward as far as you like. Notice the deep fold in your hips. Remember to keep weight in your heels. And then press actively into your feet as you tuck your tail, curl your tail under, reach down through your sits bones, and just start to build up that beautiful spinal column up to the top. Let's do this 2 more times, rounding forward. Now there is a little abdominal connection here as the front of the rib cage comes to the front of the hips. And even if you're in a hinge, you can feel that connection just in a long line, and then press through your feet to roll back up. So we're just kind of noticing, You know, where is the back hesitant to move? And often if I feel some signal, like a stopping point, a hesitation, maybe a little pre-pain signal, I'll just stop there at that point, and as long as there's not a lot of discomfort, I'll just breathe and try to help my brain make sense of where my body needs to go. Good. Let's come all the way up to the top. Now we're gonna pivot or rotate our body over the right leg. If you're rounding, we're gonna do the same rounding over the right leg. If you're hinging, you might take your hands on your knee and just hinge forward, looking for a stretch on the left side. All right, here we go, rounding forward. I said stretch and flashlight stretched. You're so Pavlovian. Reach it down. Pressing through your feet and just letting your body hang forward. And then again, ground through your feet. Imagine there's roots coming out of your heel, and as you come up, just check in that you're still facing the right side with your chest. If you've got some inconsistencies, some tension, sometimes doing a little of the rounding or the hinging to one side or the other can really help your body just find an equilibrium. Let's go again. I gotta say, I sure missed doing some bouncing this week after traveling, so this is my precursor to filming another class. Let's go to the side. Here we go, rounding forward, yes. Hello, everybody. Good, and keep going, looking at here. Beautiful, all right. I think we'll do one more because I paused for a minute. Welcome, welcome, by the way. Reaching it over, rolling it back up. Good. And then just come back to the center and let's do two more in the center. And what you're looking for, I feel, and what I know to be true, is ease. First, is it easier to accomplish the roll down? And often, if our body starts to move at a quicker pace, it means that our joints, our brain, our body, like, oh yeah, we know how to do this, we got it. We don't have to be a little bit tentative moving into this range. We can move a little faster. So speed for me is often an indicator that things are starting to connect. It's not a thing that gets me a medal. We'll leave that one there for later. Let's take our hands behind our head. All right, we're gonna interlace our fingers behind your head, and I'd like you to press your head actively back into your fingers, so much so that your underarms start to shine forward. If you've ever seen one of those, like, this is my impression of one of those hooded lizards. Is it a hood? I don't know. Anyways, running through the desert, they're usually like, you know. We're trying to be that right now by wrapping our underarms forward, creating width across our back, and feeling like you can just see your elbows in your peripheral vision, okay? You're not bringing them here, but without peeking, you just know where they are, right? So reach wide through your chest, press your head back into your hands so you can feel that sense of connection. Lift your heels up. We're not gonna run like the lizard, but we're gonna lift the heels up and we're gonna lean forward. Just be mindful if you are on a ball. And then we're gonna come back and press your heels down, so much so that you can lift your toes up. I want you to get that deep flex through your ankle joint. So we're rolling through the feet and we're hinging forward. The back is flat, the head's pressing into your hands, and then you're pressing and coming up. I'm gonna do it a little to the diagonal. We're hinging forward with our heels lifting, deepening our hip fold. And then we're reaching back with our toes lifting, deepening our length. Reaching again. Good. And coming back. Let's do it a couple more times. This chair is like working on a stability ball. It's not very, very sturdy, but that's okay. We'll take the extra challenge balance, right? Good. Think about how your breath can continue to widen your back across the top. Good. And come back up. So let's lower our toes down. Let's rotate towards the right leg. And then we're gonna hinge out over the right leg as we lift the right heel. And then we're gonna come back up. This time you can give a little bit of a back bend, a little bit of a chest lift, flexing your toe. Reaching forward and coming all the way up. Good. If there are any dancers out there, this is very reminiscent of Martha Graham Lamentation. Not quite, but you'll get it if you're a dancer. If not, just keep going. Good. One more time. So I'm really pressing to find those edges. I'm really leaning to see like what is the last possible moment I can go in. Let's come over to the left side. Here we go. Lifting the heel and reach and flex the foot. Good. Reach out through the crown of your head and lower and pull the toes back. Big length. Yeah, it's nice to just come back into connection with yourself, right? Good. It's always a good idea to kind of, even if you have to manufacture the moment, to take a sec and be like, oh yeah, I actually like doing this. I like moving with myself. Good, come back to center. All right, bring your feet forward to parallel. Now for some of us, we're gonna lift our heels up, and the idea is that we get our elbows on our knees. If that's impossible for you, it's okay. Let's not make a big deal about it. Maybe you have a pillow that you put on your legs. Maybe you stand up and go over to your counter on your kitchen and you just kind of hinge forward to put your elbows on. You'll see what we're gonna do. I'll turn to the side to show you what we're doing. We're working on a little bit of rotation here. And this is a great exercise to get in the habit of doing, just to treat your middle and upper back, as long as there's no issues beyond what we're working with. So I'm in as flat a back as I can manage, but I'm not gonna be too precious about it. For me, right here, I'm gonna take my hands to my ears. My left elbow stays on my left knee, and my right elbow is gonna open up, and I'm just gonna turn my spine, and it's real locked up right now. It's tight there, so this is about all I'm getting. And then we're gonna bring it all the way down. Now, I am folded in my hips, and then we're gonna go the other way. And wow, is there much more range over that side. Good, so these are the things when you find that you have a discrepancy from one side to the other, we just get curious. That's it, we're not gonna try to diagnose it. We're just going, oh, okay, tight, not as tight. What can I learn about it? So let's hinge our hips, let's find it, and I'm almost pressing down with the left as I open the right, which helps, oh yeah, pressing down helps get a little bit more range. And then come on down, yeah. See, I'm always remembering and discovering too. I can't stand gurus. I'm over them. Nobody knows everything, you know? It's all just an exploration. We're constantly changing. So go at the pace you need and just find some rotation. Beginner's mind is my guru, you know? That's where I learn the most. As we start to lift up, as you start to progress this, maybe you're finding a little more rotation, maybe you're opening up, start to just bring your awareness to your shoulder blades. And as you get into your shoulder blades, can you find that one shoulder blade slides down and around your back? And then a similar action happens. This is a really good one too for shoulder blade tension. You know, sometimes you get those little knots underneath your shoulder blades, and doing this sort of thing on a regular basis can just help open you up. It also makes me hungry, not gonna lie. Anytime I move my shoulder blades, it's like my stomach's like, hey, let's go eat some more. Being hungry is fun. I'm on this like super, let's go one more each side. I'm a super focused track to just like revise. I'm referring to my title as mindful disruptor. Let's release. You know, because health is health, but then there are some ways that we're like, oh, hunger, oh, bad, pain, just eat. We just gotta eat. I know what I'm gonna eat after. All right, so we're gonna start to do a little cross marching. This is so good, interestingly enough, not only for our ability to turn our back, but it's also really awesome for calming our nervous system. If it has the opposite effect on you, then you don't do it because there's nothing universal. But basically we're gonna come up and we're just gonna come down, lift one knee as much as you can. If that's the heel only, that's fine. And we're just gonna swipe it off and lower down. And we're gonna come up or across and swipe it off. It's a little awkward when you do it slow. So just marching. The point of doing this little cross marching is that you get yourself into a space where you feel, whoops, like you're making contact, defined contact. So even if you're just doing it from a hand position point of view, good. You can go to the beat if you like or not. Do what you can. There's a lot of different motions that are just super, super helpful for us in terms of reconnecting and coordinating. And then, yeah, like we're moving, and so blah, 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 boring calories, whatever, at the end. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm so bored with burning calories. I want to transcend, right? I want to eat food, move well, have good, exciting experiences with other people, and plants and dogs. The end. Good. Let's finish up our last few. Good. All right, shake it out. We're gonna come up to a standing position. And let's take our chairs if you've got one. If not, go to a wall or the counter or something just to help yourself have a little bit of a, like a bar, so to speak. So we're gonna take a hinge, a slight hinge. And what I'd like you to do is just take a few breaths. Widen your feet so you've got a nice solid base of support. We're gonna breathe to fill up our abdomen without collapsing our spine. So just kind of keep that nice length you've got. Then as you exhale, sense that your front body, your back body, and your side bodies, they all have a gentle connecting hug towards the midline. It's not a choke hold, okay? This idea of having a solid core means that you're literally robotic, supple, fluid core. So expand it as you breathe in, connect it as you breathe out. It can be helpful to picture like a little ball in your belly. And so as you're breathing to widen the space around the ball. And as you exhale, you're just holding on to the ball. Maybe it's a bubble so you don't pop it, yeah? It's like how much pressure can you add before it becomes constricting? I'm just gonna leave that one right there, thinking of those words. How much pressure can you add through your core before the pressure becomes constricting? Good, we're gonna do one more breath here. And then I'd like you to come up to a vertical position. And just take either your thumbs or your hands, whatever you can manage with your shoulders, to just feel this kind of mid to low aspect of your back, not your hips, above your pelvis, above your kind of natural waist. And just find a good amount of touch there. Lean your body forward into your toes and then lean back. What we're looking for is to see if we can sense that the muscles around our lower spine have a widening effect as we lean into our toes. So you might not feel it widen initially, but as you lean back to your heels, maybe you'll feel it relax a little. Let's just play with that. And as with all of the awareness exercises, it is never the expectation that you're all paying attention to your body as much as a movement teacher does. This is like my literal job, right? So this is all that beginner's mindset, like, can I feel something happening as I lean forward? Do I feel it relaxing as I lean back? Is it happening more on one side than the other? These are all interesting questions, right? So in the event that you do feel some fleshing out happening on your back as you put weight into your toes, my question for you is, as we lean forward, feel that contraction. What can you do to maintain a sense of support as you lean into your heels? So it's almost like the leaning forward shows you the muscular action. Can you follow the cue of your own body to keep that support as you lean back over your heels? Reaching forward, waiting for it to show up, and then trying to maintain it. So obviously this is artificial, but you might start to feel that there's a little bit of front body work that has to come online in order to keep that tension on our back. And none of this should be painful, okay? It's just an awareness piece to help us understand the different ways our back can feel beyond just tight. Good. All right, so if that worked for you, awesome. If it didn't, let's just keep going. Let's take our hands back down to the chair. We're gonna narrow our stance a little, so maybe there's about 4 inches between our feet or so, something that allows you to stand well. And then we're gonna shift our weight into the back foot and take the front foot back like so. So before we start to move that back leg, I want you to just check in with the way you're supporting your torso. Can you feel that same sense of connection, front, back, side to side? And we're just gonna tap the foot next to the ankle and then tap it back. I want you to start slower so that your focus is on supporting through the center. It's not so much about your legs, although you'll probably feel the standing leg pretty soon. Good, so this is like the first variation. And if we want to increase the challenge of the variation, then we're going to bring it up and reach it back. So it's now floating in the air, which gives you a little more to manage through your torso. Good. All right, and if you're in a place where you're like, I got this, I want to see what this baby's made of, then you can start to maybe release one arm. And if that feels okay, then maybe you can start to release the other arm. Or just pulling and pushing, adding an element of balance. So now you're working a little less statically, a little less in stillness, a little bit more dynamically. So how can you use that support? Front, side, back. You can always go back to the chair if you need it. How can we work the support systems to help us keep moving, yeah? Good, let's give it 4, 3, 2, and 1, and stand. How did we do? Yeah, feeling that standing leg. Let's go to the other side. So we hinge, we establish our support. We're gonna start tapping back into the ankle. So just setting it up. I think of this beginning variation, it's the litmus test. How much do I, what are the assumptions I've made about my support systems and what's actually happening? Some days I feel like I am supported, and I'm not. So it's just that checking in. Good, if you want to progress to the second variation, lift it up, reach it back. Remember, 2 different sides of the body often require 2 specific strategies. Similar, yet different. Good. Maybe we add the arm if you feel ready for that. Yeah. Maybe you add the other arm. Good. Good. Let's go for 4. When it gets hard, I have a hard time talking. 3, 2. And the last one. Good. Come on all the way up. All right. We're going to take it down to the mat in a second. I'm going to bring my chair forward. If you've got your couch, that would probably work best, your chair. We're going to stand 1 foot up on top, as long as that's all right for you. Now, I am tall, so I'm going to have a little bit of an issue doing this with some honesty. So I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to rest my leg on the top of my chair. And how will we do this? Firstly, let's just roll our thigh bone in towards internal rotation and then roll it out to external rotation. Another option is to bend your knee and then kind of try to do the same action. I don't know what Flashlight ate, but it is toxic in the studio today. So pardon me while I don't take deep breaths. My God, dog. Sheesh. Good, I know what he ate 2 days ago, but it can't possibly still be going. But man, good thing there's no smell-o-vision, right? Good, so this is working a little bit more for me. Hopefully it's working for you. So we're just doing a little hip mobility. Then we're gonna come all the way up. And what I'd like you to do from here, let's see, it probably will work best if we go like this. We're gonna put our leg up against the chair like so. Flex your foot, use it for balance, and then just roll it in and back to center. Roll it in and back to center. So yeah, there's a little bit of this stuff going on. We've done this also with a broomstick before, and you can also just do it in standing. Or if you put your leg in a door frame, it's just to feel where that full internal rotation is coming from so that we're really being mindful about our hips. Good. We'll do one more. And then can you take your leg and stand it up on top? So you might have to maneuver your standing leg. So look, I'm gonna have no movement here, so we're all gonna be kind to ourselves. The idea is that we keep our thigh where it's at and we try to lift our foot off. So again, the expectation is not that you lift your foot completely off. Let's let that one go. It's the act of trying to lift the inner edge of our foot or make the outer edge a little lighter. It's gonna get you right in the hips. I'm gonna take my arms out. We're gonna do about 8 of them. This is just a little mobility work. It's gonna show us exactly where we are and where we're not. And you know what? Unless you've been practicing rotation like this on a regular basis, there's a good possibility that you're not gonna have much motion here, and that's just the reality of it. But we're testing. We're getting at least a second off there. All right, let's let that one go. Wah! Take your foot behind you and just give your hip a little stretch, like so. Yeah, fun times, right? Okay, so I'm gonna turn the chair around. Actually, we did the other thing first, so let's balance it out. So I'm gonna put my thigh on the back of the chair, I'm bending my knee, I'm flexing that foot, and I'm just rotating to turn out and to turn in. Not much on this side. Good. It's really the idea of spinning your thigh bone in the hip socket as you go. And just doing the best you can to keep like a specific range of motion. Good news is we're taking it down to the mat. Bad news is still hungry. Good. All right. Maybe 2. And maybe 1. Good, relax. All right. Come around. Hi-yo. Bring the chair across. Stepped my foot right underneath it. I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna keep my thigh against it, and then I'm just gonna rotate and back to center. This one is kind of working well for my dimensions, where I have a little bit of resting opportunity on that inner thigh. Good. So some of what we're working on is just like body weight strengthening of our joints. And why do the hips matter to the back? It's like the old song goes, they're all connected, yeah? So sometimes when you're having some back tension or pain or tightness or restriction, it's really actually coming from things like ankles, knees, hips. And so it's just a more holistic approach. Let's do one more to be looking at lots of different things. Come on around, woo! And just thinking about like, okay, Let me check in with all the pieces and parts, yeah? We know it's coming. Do the best you can to try to make your foot light and try to lift it up. It's like nothing there, so I'm gonna do a good pretend. Oh, I got 1 minute, 1 second. It does help too to engage through that torso support. You notice I'm not using the word core a whole lot. Overused, overdefined, over-focus on tone and flat and bleh. So we're gonna look for support in our torso, okay? Okay, that's what we're doing today. Woo! Just imagine like a teddy bear with flat, rock-solid abs. You wouldn't want to hug it, right? You like that soft, supple belly, that mobile belly, that one that's ready for love. One more. Good. Just losing our mind. Bring it back. Oh, now is the time in class where we groan. Whew. All right, my friends, we're gonna take it down to the mat. We're just about there. Listen up. Let me put this off. In the event, you stay over there, Stinky. Nobody wants what you're putting down. Let's take it down. In the event that you need extra support, you can always use your chair. Oh God, it's attacking me. He's coming to a tie. Oh. Yeah, just stay here. Are you okay? Did you get into the garbage? Like, what happened? What happened to you? Yeah, this is what happens when you steal food and pretend like nobody saw you. You know? Yeah, I know. Are you very sorry? Why don't you just lay down? All right, let's take it down to your back, everybody. Flashlight cameo, still not smelling good, I know. Let's just take a minute to not breathe. Okay, our feet are wide on the mat. Our brains are rethinking our life choices. And we're gonna begin with a little bridge. Let's start just by pressing our hips up to the sky. Open up your hips after all that good hip work. Reach your knees out beyond your toes. Press wide through your collarbones. I like to think of my collarbones like a big manta ray, the wings extending wide across. You can open your arms out as well if you need that. And then let's just ripple down, nice and easy. We're not forcing articulation, we're just seeing what happens when we lay our spine all the way down and out to the mat. And then we're gonna press straight up again. Remember those melty chocolate feet at the beginning? Find them, let them melt, and then ripple all the way down. And just let the spine and your back massage the mat. Press all the way up. When you think about you being the massage therapist, you put a little bit more consideration into the effort that you're moving with and through. Let's go one more time. Good. All right, bringing your arms down to a low V. Let's press up into your bridge. And then we're gonna reach the right arm back overhead. And then start to roll down and go slow. Notice the stretch that happens on that side of the body. As you get down, think about the distance between your right arm and your right hip. And then relax and slide it back down. Press your hips back up. You could reach your arm back, you could circle it back, and then roll down, stretching on the other side, finding that length all the way down. Good, reach your circle, and then we're gonna do it with both arms, so press all the way up. I'm gonna lift my arms up and back, and then reach long with both arms. Don't worry about your shoulders coming up to your ears, just enjoy that opposition, that stretch that we worked on at the beginning. All the way down, circling the arms down. Let's do one more of those. Both hips go up, both arms reach back. Reach in opposition between your fingers and your hips as you roll through your spine, getting that length and space where you need it most. Good, okay. Bring your arms down by your side. Walk your feet together. We're gonna do one more little core exercise. So feel your pelvis heavy to the mat. Feel the bottom of your rib cage heavy to the mat. Maybe there's space underneath your low back, maybe there isn't. Our goal is to keep the weight of our back body consistent as we hover our feet above the mat. Now, if your feet don't lift, we're just gonna imagine them getting a little lighter on the mat. You'll feel it, it's gonna go right here. What we're avoiding is lifting the feet and arching the back off. So I don't wanna see, I can't see you, but I can see you, you know what I'm saying? I don't wanna see your feet lifting up super sky high, and I don't wanna see you going 1, 2. I want you to drop your weight. Think of a pulley system. The more your weight drops into the mat, the lighter your feet get. If they just get light on the mat, perfect. If they get so light they can lift up, awesome. Join me when you're ready. We're gonna hold for 5, 4, a little quiver down here, 3, 2, and last one, lower and relax. Okay? We're gonna do it again. So take a minute, drop anchor. When you're ready, hover and hold for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax. Whew. Last time, press down. Get heavy in the torso, get light in your feet, and hold for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax, okay. Heel toe your feet out a bit wider than your mat. We're gonna gently let both knees go to the right and circle your left arm to reach up overhead. And this time the opposition extends through your hip all the way down through your knee. Breathe in and breathe out. Send your hips back to the center and circle back down, and let's go in the other direction, reaching. Good. Big breath in, big breath out. And then find your way back to center. And we'll go again, reaching. Just letting everything settle. Finding your way back to center. One more time. Good. Coming back to center and just letting your body settle for a minute. Now, you might choose to stay on your back here, or you might want to come up to a seated position, either cross-legged or in your chair. Let's take a couple moments to find our position, and I just want to make sure that we're not going to have some house music come on at the end. No, raves. Here. Yeah, where are we? Let's go here. Yeah, let's go here. Remind me later. Okay, so here we are. We're gonna have our seat, and we're gonna finish with a little awareness exercise. So again, you might be laying on your back, you might be in your chair, you might be seated. With me, I'm just gonna stay upright so I don't fall asleep. Okay, take your hands, palm up, wherever you are, in a rested position. And then I will invite you to either bring your gaze inward, or if you're in a place mentally, physically, emotionally, and environmentally that allows you to close your eyes and feel good about that, I'll invite you to close your eyes. And let's just tune into our breath. So just like you might tune an instrument, you're taking your breaths and you're just noting which sort of effort works for you, which sort of attention works for you. Is there any tension that is standing in the way of a deeper breath? It's taking a moment to feel like the instrument is working for you. Maybe slowing down the cadence of our breath a little. And I'd like you to bring your attention to your hands. We're just going to send our awareness to one or both hands at the same time, right into the center of your palm. Thinking of the center of your hand like a little energetic nucleus. See if you can notice the energy that resides there. And if this is far out for you, if you're like, what is this, Jenna? Take the ride with me. Practice beginner's mind, a little bit of curiosity. That's all we're asking. So with your hands resting wherever they might be resting, and with your attention on that little nucleus of energy in the center of your hands, I'll invite you just to do some very simple, subtle movements of your fingers. It's not defined, you're not making specific shapes, you're just exploring a wiggle or a shift, a movement, something that just lets you know that each finger is present for you. In the way that it's meant to be. And you might choose to stay with this piece of awareness, or you can begin to explore floating your hands off of their support place, whether that is the floor or your thighs. Just for the next few moments, let's just make these subtle motions of our hands. Noticing how the movement interacts with the space. Noticing the energy shift. Just play with it. We're going to slowly start to move our hands towards each other, towards the center of your chest, just taking some awareness and some time. I want you to bring your hands close enough that you can sense the space between them, but not touching, without touching. And this is kind of my favorite part here. So we're going to imagine a ball similar to the one that we imagined in your belly here. And we're just going to take each hand and imagine that you're pulsing into the ball, just like you're squeezing it gently, evenly from one hand to the other. And as you do this little pulse, notice how there's a little bit of resistance in the space. If you move slow enough, you can feel that there's a little resistance between your hands. There's something there that's keeping them from slamming together. Maybe it's your mind, maybe it's the environment, the atmosphere, maybe it's the metaverse, who knows? Just explore the pulse. Good. And then when you're ready, you can release the pulse, bring your hands towards each other. You can clasp hands, you can prayer position, you can do whatever you like. We're going to take a deep breath in. And then we'll start to just wake ourselves up. Little movements of your head, your neck, your shoulders, maybe blinking your eyes open to come back into this space. I love doing that awareness exercise because it's just such a nice, playful situation. You know, it's, I think that kind of sensation is what we might be after sometimes when we play video games or who knows what else. But I hope you enjoyed it. My side computer just lost its battery, so I will come over and check your comments. But let me know how this one worked for you. The intention behind doing some mindfulness activities towards the end of class is to help us kind of let any excess tension just dissipate, just go away for the rest of your day. So you may choose to stay here for a little longer, do some extra stretches, maybe work into some core connection work. You might choose to be done for the day. You might choose to take a nap if you've got that time for yourself. I would hope that you intend to choose to remember why the moves matter to your life today. And I will see you on Monday for a special bouncing re-immersion. And then finally, for those of you who enjoyed this sort of class, I've got a really good special for the Stretch and Mobilize clinic on my site right now. If you go to Jenna-Zaffino.com and then you look under upcoming clinics, or featured clinics, excuse me, you'll see the Stretch and Mobilize clinic. It's 6 classes that progress you through situations and exercises just like this. And there's also some bonuses. There's some meditations in there. There's a moving meditation, there's a mat class, and there is a expanded mobility class in there. So there's extra, and it's on sale for $75. So that is a very, very good deal. It's regular $175 when I run them live. It's actually more expensive because I do a lot of teaching and coaching throughout the program, but for the library access, it's $75. So go get yours today and have fun with me and continue your mobility practice. All right, big love to all of you. I'll drop into the comments in just a sec. Mwah. Thank you for being here. Have a good rest of your week.